The Ross University of Veterinary Medicine is back again with another contest for Lab Week. This year's focus is on instrument models. We are pleased to welcome Patrice Bernier, Senior Lab Technician to tell us more about this year's contest. Good morning, Patrice, and welcome to Good Morning SKN.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Our pleasure indeed. So a model instrument contest. Why?
Instrument model.
Instrument model contest. Okay.
Yeah, so they're making models of the instruments themselves. And we decided on instrument models because this year we wanted to focus on knowing and understanding your results. I know lots of times we go to the doctor, we get blood work done, and we sometimes don't know what our results are and what they mean. And we wanted to focus a little bit on that and educating our community about, making sure that you're aware of what's happening in your body. Because you can feel fine, but the lab results can tell a different story.
Indeed.
And without the lab results, the doctors can't really make any decisions. So just so that you know. And so to highlight that, we decided to focus on the instruments that we use to obtain these results.
Okay.
So the contest will focus on the kids making models out of cardboard or paper, whatever tools and equipment they can find. We try to focus on sustainability as well, so like recyclable materials and just whatever you can find around the home to make these, and to focus on like your microscope and the scales and those instruments that we use in the lab so frequently every day to get results.
Okay, good stuff.
All right, so well, again, you listed some of the instruments that have to be created.
Yes,
a whole list.
There is a whole list.
Would you like to walk us through at least more of those instruments?
Yeah, okay. So just checking my list here. So our list includes microscopes and spectrophotometer, scales, vortex, incubator, a centrifuge, water bath, and biosafety cabinet. So these are all instruments that we have in our lab that serve different purposes. I know most might be more familiar with the microscopes and maybe the scales, but we have incubators that we use for microbiology to put plates that we grow bacteria. And we have water baths that we use sometimes for tissue cultures and making different media.
Okay.
And we also have vortexes, which sometimes we need to agitate samples at really high speeds, and centrifuges as well that help us to separate out our blood samples. So all these are very useful instruments that make our jobs a lot easier and help us to get results to our patients a lot quicker.
Lovely. So who can enter this contest?
So the contest is open to all students in St. Kitts and Nevis. Okay. So we have from preschool to high school. Yes, even the preschoolers. Yeah. Last year we did have an Bling My Lab Coat contest, and we had so many beautiful submissions from our preschoolers. They're so talented. So we do want to include them and just continue to raise awareness about our profession, because we want more lab technicians and we want trained medical laboratory technologists and radiologists and other technicians in our healthcare system, both veterinary and medical. Okay. So we're just trying to promote this profession and encourage from even the youngest to the oldest to be, interested in this.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, because when we think of alternative career paths, the fact that you are catering to children as young as the kindergarten age, all the way up to high school, and they're making all of these different things, it's really fascinating and informative at the same time for them.
Yes, yes.
Well. All right, so special awards. Let's talk about the awards.
Yes, so we have... well, the categories, like I mentioned, we have preschool, we'll have preschool, then kindergarten to grade 2, grade 3 to 5, and then high school is just one category in and of itself. So we'll have first, second, and third in each of those 4 categories.
All right, just a point of clarification, grades 3 to 6 or grades 3 to 5?
Grades 3 to 6,
grades
sorry.
3 to 6.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So again, special awards, most realistic award, US $50. So you're looking to see exactly
what? we're looking to see which one of these models most resembles the instrument that they chose to create. So how realistic can you make it? If you can paint it, make it look as close to a real microscope or a real scale. Like if I put it next to my scale, will I think, oh my, which one was the model? So we're trying to we're looking for that and trying to award the student that can get their project as close to the original as possible.
You spoke on sustainability before. Why was it even a category to be included?
So for previous Lab Week celebrations, we also collaborated with the Ministry of Education on their sustainable development and hosted a sustainable development fair. And this we had in the Independence Square at that time. I think it was mostly just the primary schools that participated. We had from Nevis as well come down, and they were able to make different presentations on one of the sustainability development goals from the United Nations. And we focused on that. And I think from since then, we have just tried to always incorporate sustainability in whatever we do, because we understand that we only have one Earth and we have to take care of it. And that is very important for us to promote that and educate our children about that as well.
Good stuff. Definitely so. All right, so school awards again. Preschool, $200. Primary school, US $200. It's US, by the way. High school, US $200. But there were also some non-cash prizes equivalent to US $250, US $150, and US $100. Who receives these prizes?
So for the school prizes itself, those will go to the school that receives the most points overall. So based on the submissions, if one particular school has the most prizes, one preschool will obtain $200 US worth of prizes, and then one primary school and one high school as well. So it's based on whichever school obtains the most points based on the submissions of the students. So the schools should encourage their students to join, because that increases your chances of obtaining these prizes. And, we understand that the children are doing most of the work with their parents, so we definitely want to reward them handsomely. But we know the schools are always needing resources. And at Ross University, we always try to, especially our labs, to supply them with supplies and give back to the community in that way.
So before we go, how can persons register, and what is the deadline for this contest?
You can register. Well, you can check our Facebook page for the links to registration. So it's facebook.com/RUSVM Lab Week. And there is the flyer with all this information that we spoke about today, and links to the Judgify platform that we are using, where you will be able to register there. We have a deadline of January 31st, so it's fastly approaching, not much time left. So do make sure that you guys submit your registrations there. It's just to register now, and the submission deadlines will actually be on March 20th. So you do have quite a bit of time still, even just to come up with your idea. So make sure that you are registered. You have to be in it to win it. So register now and worry about it tomorrow, but register now. Make sure you register now. Make sure you register now.
Lab Week and our first instance. So give us a sense of what the intention is of Lab Week.
So the overall intention of Lab Week is really to raise awareness about our profession. And growing up as a child in our education system here, and just someone that has always been very interested in sciences, I was totally unaware of allied healthcare and other professions that it contains. So I think all that we are kind of taught, maybe these kids today are a little bit more educated than I was at that point, but it was doctor or nurse, and that was all that you knew in science, right? And when I started working at Ross and finding out about being a medical laboratory professional, we have histology technicians, we have necropsy pathology technicians, we have vet techs that work in our clinic at Ross, and just being exposed to all of these different areas that exist in science and in veterinary medicine, or on the medical side, the human medicine side, it was just so eye-opening. And I guess it was like, how many other science students out there are there that are completely unaware of this? Everyone might think that they have to become a doctor or a nurse, and that is the only option, but it really isn't. There are so many different fields in the allied healthcare system that you can look into, and ultrasound technicians, radiology, x-ray technicians, there is just so much that can be explored in this field.
I like that. And what got you into this field, though?
I guess I just always had a love for understanding how things work, and being more aware of on the background, what happens in the background. I mean, when you look at us, you can see externally, but we look at blood under the microscope and see your red blood cells and your white blood cells and your platelets and what's happening there. And that was just always so interesting to me, to figure out what's happening and seeing it, like what's happening internally.
Nice.
All right, so let's talk about the highlights of your career.
So my career, I started at Ross as an intern, actually, in the CFBC internship program. So I was able to intern there for a summer while I was first year at the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College. And when I completed my education there, I reapplied to Ross because I fell in love with it. I was an intern in the anatomy pathology department. So there they deal with bone structures and the canine cadavers and stuff like that. And it was just so interesting to get to be able to see that side of medicine. And I definitely did want to go back to Ross. It was such a good environment there. And so I reapplied as an admin assistant, but it was just a temporary position at that time. And I didn't think that I would be kept on permanently, but they like called me back and said, we worked it out and we want you back. And so I was able to go back, and in no time moved up as a lab trainee. We got a new admin assistant, and then I became a lab technician, and then the youngest senior lab technician in the diagnostic department at Ross University. Yes.
Very impressive.
Thank you.
Wow, you moved up the ladder very well.
Yes, so now I oversee hematology, coagulation, and cytology departments, and also assist in our student labs in those areas.
Nice, you make it all look easy.
Yeah, it has been, you know, years of learning from my peers and colleagues, and also pursuing some online education. And it's just been really fun working with my team. I love them very much. I know they're tuning in and watching. So shout out to the lab services team at Ross University, everyone there. You guys are so amazing.
Okay. So, is there a theme for this year, and how does it cater to medical professionals and pathologists?
Yes, our theme this year is Know and Understand Your Results. And like I mentioned before, it's really just about promoting that we should want to know what's happening inside our bodies when we go to the doctor, not just for them to tell you, oh, you're fine, that's it. Like, actually ask for copies of your results so that you can have them for yourself. Start to build your own database, because as we know, we don't really have electronic medical records here. When you go from one doctor to the next, you have to walk with your results, right? So make sure you ask for copies, understand what's happening. If you don't, you know, ask your doctor to explain further. It's your body and your health, and it's really important that you understand what is happening with you.
Absolutely right. All right, shifting back to your career for a second, let's talk about some of the challenges that you experienced, if there were any, of course, getting into this field.
Yeah, I would definitely say there are challenges, especially since we don't have programs here locally that cater to learning, you know, medical laboratory technology. It would most likely be a degree that you would have to pursue externally. And I definitely think there is a lot more that we can do on the local front to cater more to this career and more technical careers in the allied healthcare field. Health is very dear to my heart, not just veterinary, but humans as well. And I think we definitely need to invest on a governmental level more in education around allied healthcare, medical professionals, medical laboratory professionals.
Have you managed to get an interview with the Prime Minister to discuss some of these ideas that you have?
Well, when he was campaigning, we did have a short conversation, especially about electronic medical records. Okay. And so I'm looking forward to see what happens in terms of our healthcare advancement here in St. Kitts, and just seeing where I can assist with that in my career as well.